Unlocking the hidden secrets of the family soul, a breakthrough for coaches and healers. We're still on the module of wisdom, and today's lesson will be about wholeness. So this for me is where I had to do my biggest mind shift, because wholeness is embracing all that is, which is the path of true healing. And this will be difficult for us when we judge, when we have these blockages within ourselves to embrace all that is. So I'm inviting you into this lesson and open your mind and see what you can take in that'll work for you. Healing is not about fixing what is broken. It is about reclaiming wholeness. Healing is not about fixing what is broken. It is about reclaiming wholeness. And I've repeated this because I really want us to understand that. Healing is not about fixing what is broken. It's about reclaiming wholeness. This is key. As coaches and healers, we often meet people that feel fragmented, which is why they come to us, disconnected, or stuck in repeating patterns. They search for solutions, trying to remove pain and erase memories or fix what feels wrong. But systemic wisdom teaches us a deeper truth. Wholeness comes from embracing all that is, not from exclusion, but from inclusion. And this is where I think we have to do the biggest mind shift, because we are living in a world where everything is about exclusion. So I want you just to relax. In this lesson, we explore how to guide our clients towards deep healing by restoring balance within the systemic field. And let's begin. So maybe this will now explain to you the first module that we worked with, the family soul. I should have maybe put this module before the first one, but I thought of doing it this way around so that we could get into the family soul and then understand the wisdom within which we actually live. Let's start with the journey to wholeness. As we've already said, the meaning of wholeness means healing through inclusion. Think of a tree. Its strength lies not in its branches reaching for the sky, but in its roots, some visible, others buried deep in the earth. And the same is true for us. Wholeness is not about removing what is uncomfortable. It's about acknowledging everything, our past, our pain, our lineage, and finding peace within it. Oh, this is a lot. In family systems, fragmentation occurs when parts of ourselves or our ancestry are denied, hidden, or unacknowledged. This can create inner conflict, repeating life patterns, and a sense of not fully belonging. And we've spoken about belonging in our first module. But when we restore inclusion, something shifts. Suddenly, we are no longer fighting against parts of ourselves. We are embracing them. Our sense of wholeness does not come from cutting away what we don't like. And this is what is being practiced in norm of the world today. Nor from pretending certain parts of our history don't exist. Instead, it comes from recognizing that everything, our joys and our struggles, our triumphs and our pains, belong to us. Why is this so important? Because when parts of ourselves, our history, our family lineage are ignored, denied, or excluded, they don't just disappear. They remain active in the unconscious field, showing up in different ways, often in patterns of suffering, inner conflict, or unresolved struggles that seem to repeat across generations. Imagine a family where a grandfather was deeply shamed and rejected for his choices. His story is rarely spoken about, as if removing him from the narrative would erase his impact. But instead, what happens? Years later, a grandchild may feel inexplicably lost, disconnected, or stuck in self-sabotaging behaviors, carrying an unseen burden that belongs to a family member they barely knew. This is how exclusion leads to fragmentation. It's not just about personal wounds, it's about systemic disconnection. How does fragmentation manifest in life? When wholeness is disrupted, it can appear in different ways. Inner conflict. A person may feel torn between different aspects of themselves. One part striving for success, while another sabotages every effort. We know that. Then repetitive life patterns. They may find themselves in cycles of unfulfilling relationships, financial struggles, or self-doubt without understanding why. And then the sense of not fully belonging. There may be a vague feeling of emptiness, as if something is missing. Because something is missing, an unacknowledged piece of their systemic story. For example, consider someone who constantly struggles with self-worth and feeling invisible in relationships. When they explore their family system, they discover that an ancestor was cast out and forgotten due to cultural societal norms. By acknowledging and reintegrating that lost ancestor, by simply saying, "You belong, I see you, and I honor your place," they begin to feel a deeper sense of self-acceptance and confidence. When we reject, we continue to struggle against. What we acknowledge, we can integrate. What does it mean to embrace inclusion in systemic healing? Inclusion does not mean approving of every aspect of history or every action taken by those that came before us. Rather, it means accepting reality as it is, without judgment, without resistance. It means recognizing that every member of a family system, no matter how flawed, has a rightful place. It's about understanding that pain, trauma, and struggles are part of our lineage, but they do not define us. And by allowing ourselves and our clients to move beyond victimhood by stepping into full ownership of all that we are. A simple yet profound shift happens when we make space of what was once denied. It is a shift from this should not have happened to this did happen and I now acknowledge its place. This act of acknowledgement creates a sense of systemic balance. It allows the stuck energy to move, bringing flow back into life. What if we lived in wholeness? What if, instead of fighting against part of ourselves, we choose to embrace them? What if we stopped carrying unconscious burdens and instead found freedom in acceptance? What if we allowed ourselves to feel fully connected to our past, not as a weight, but as a source of wisdom and strength? When we practice systemic inclusion, we no longer live in opposition to ourselves. We step into life with all our energy, all of our presence, and a deep sense of belonging. And this is what we as coaches and healers can offer those who serve, not a way to escape or erase, but a path to reclaiming our full selves. I invite you to reflect. What have you been unconsciously excluding? What part of your story, your lineage, or yourself is waiting to be acknowledged? Because when we choose wholeness, we choose freedom. Everybody wants freedom. That is, we have to choose wholeness. And healing is simply the process of coming home to all that we are. And now I invite you to join me on the next lesson. See you there. Right. So how do we recognize what has been excluded? That's always the million-dollar question. What or who has been left out? This is the main question when we work with a systemic perspective and we see that there is a blockage or a brokenness. What or who has been left out? In systemic work, exclusion leads to unconscious entanglements. When a family member, an emotion, or a significant event is ignored, it simply doesn't disappear. And this is key. Instead, it finds a way back through recurring patterns, perhaps in relationships, career struggles, or even physical symptoms. Our role as coaches and healers is to help clients see what has been hidden. When the forgotten is acknowledged, healing begins. We ask ourselves, why does this happen? When we leave certain elements out of the family story, whether consciously or unconsciously, we are fragmenting the system. Just as a missing piece in a puzzle makes the image incomplete, exclusion creates holes in energetic fabric. So we may ask ourselves, why does this happen? When we leave certain elements out of our family story, whether consciously or unconsciously, we are fragmenting the system. And just as a missing piece in a puzzle makes the image incomplete, exclusion creates holes in the energetic fabric of our lives. These gaps remain unresolved until we recognize and reintegrate them. For example, let's say a family member was shunned or cast aside due to their choices, behavior, or circumstances. That person may have been the black sheep of the family, and the absence from family gatherings, stories, and celebrations became the unspoken rule. The family continued on as if they never existed. Yet, in the following generations, the descendants of that family may find themselves inexplicably repeating similar cycles, being excluded, overlooked, or feeling as though they don't belong. The emotional wounds of that hidden family member reverberate through time and space, affecting those who remain in the system. And how do these exclusions show up in life? Exclusion can manifest in many forms. Emotional disconnection, when we forget to acknowledge the pain, the anger, or grief. We carry those emotions, but they remain unresolved. They can then cause feelings of numbness or emotional withdrawal. Repetitive patterns. You may notice recurring issues, such as constantly being passed over for promotions at work or being drawn into toxic relationships, despite efforts to change. These are the echoes of family dynamics not fully embraced. And then there's the physical symptoms. Sometimes unresolved emotional exclusions manifest in physical symptoms like chronic pain, unexplained illnesses, or even recurring headaches can point to areas of unresolved traumas or neglected parts of the family system. For example, a client may be struggling with unexplained back pain. And upon delving deeper into their family history, they may discover that their maternal grandmother suffered a severe injury that was never discussed or processed. The pain in their own back could be a manifestation of the unresolved trauma of their grandmother's injury, hidden away and unacknowledged for generations. So I'm asking, what if we could uncover the hidden elements of the family system? What if we could lift the veil on the unseen parts of the family's history? Those family members who were excluded, the emotions that were not allowed to surface, or the painful events that were buried in silence. What if the missing pieces could be acknowledged, understood, and reintegrated into the system? When we bring these hidden elements into light, something powerful happens. We no longer carry the weight of the unresolved. We can make peace with what has been forgotten. By acknowledging these excluded parts, whether they are people, emotions, or experiences, we start to heal the fragmented system. The energy becomes free to flow once again. The patterns of suffering and struggle start to shift. What does this mean for our role as coaches and healers? As coaches and healers, we must learn to recognize what has been excluded in the lives of our clients. Our role is not just to solve problems or to provide quick fixes. We are here to facilitate a deeper understanding of the systemic forces at play. We must learn to ask, who has been left out? Is there a family member whose presence was erased from the family narrative? What emotions were never expressed? Is there unprocessed grief or anger lingering in the system? What events have been denied or forgotten? Are there family secrets that continue to haunt those who came after? These are important questions. And in our work, it is crucial to create a safe space for these truths to come to the surface. Only when the forgotten is acknowledged, true healing can begin. For example, a client may be experiencing ongoing relationship challenges. Through systemic exploration, they may uncover that their parents never truly grieved the loss of a sibling who died young. This unspoken grief was passed down and left unhealed, manifesting in their own struggles with intimacy. By acknowledging the grief and welcoming it back into the family system, healing and connection can begin to flow again. So I'm wondering, what if we embrace the process of recognition? What if, instead of trying to erase the past and pretend that certain things never happened, we embrace the process of recognition? What if we welcome back the forgotten, the denied, the hidden, and the unseen into our lives and our system? Recognizing what has been excluded brings a profound sense of peace. It allows the system to rebalance itself as it restores harmony and cohesion. It is the first step towards breaking free from repeating patterns, healing generational wounds, and finding peace within ourselves. So I invite you to consider, what have you or your clients been excluding? What forgotten pieces of the family or personal story need to be seen and acknowledged? When we bring these hidden elements into the light, healing begins. And when healing begins, true transformation is possible. It's quite exciting, isn't it? So, join me in the next lesson. I really look forward to seeing you there. Restoring balance through acceptance. So we've already heard that acceptance is the key to wholeness. When clients resist aspects of their past or deny certain emotions, they remain trapped in a cycle of conflict. But when they learn to welcome all aspects of themselves, the joyful, the painful, the known, and the forgotten, true transformation unfolds. Systemic healing is not about forcing change. It is about allowing integration. And when we guide our clients to say, yes, this too belongs, we witness a profound shift, one that brings peace, resilience, and freedom. So often we think of healing as something that requires us to change, to fix, or to get rid of something that feels broken. But in systemic work, healing is not about fixing. It is about integrating. It's about all parts of the self, no matter how painful or uncomfortable, into the full picture of who we are. Why does acceptance lead to healing? At the core of acceptance is the powerful principle that everything belongs. We've dealt with that in our module of the family soul. Every part in our story, no matter how dark, shameful, or painful, is essential in shaping who we are. When we push away aspects of ourselves, we create imbalances and fragmentation. These suppressed parts, whether they are memories, emotions, or traumas, continue to affect us, often in unconscious ways. Think of it like this. When we resist a storm, we try to fight it, avoid it, or hide from it. But in doing so, we give it more power over us. When we face the storm, however, when we acknowledge it is for what it is, we can weather it. We can take precautions. The same goes for the uncomfortable parts of our lives. The more we resist, the more they control us. But when we accept them, we reclaim our power. How can we help clients embrace what they resist? Acceptance is not about passing resignation. It is a dynamic force of integration, bringing all parts of the self into harmony. How do we help clients shift from resistance to acceptance? Okay. Firstly, acknowledge the unacknowledged. Start by identifying the parts of themselves that they are avoiding. Is there unresolved grief, a hidden shame, or a family trauma that has been buried in the past? This could be anything from a painful divorce or the untold story of a lost parent, or even unspoken generational pain. Invite compassionate curiosity. Rather than telling clients they need to accept what they resist, we can invite them into a space of curiosity. What would it be like to gently explore these hidden aspects, to inquire, what does this part of me have to teach me? How has it been protecting me? Thirdly, offer support in reconciliation. As we guide clients through their healing journey, we help them reconcile opposite part of themselves. It is not reconciliation with anybody out there. It is reconciliating and reconciling opposite parts of themselves. For example, a client might struggle with shame from the past, but through systemic healing, they can learn to view that experience as a stepping stone towards growth and transformation. Isn't that what you as a coach really aim to participate in? Fourthly, encourage self-compassion. Often, the parts of ourselves that we reject are the ones that need our love and understanding the most. And helping clients develop compassion for the flaws they perceive in themselves can dissolve shame and make way for acceptance. What happens when acceptance is achieved? When clients make space for all parts of themselves, a profound shift occurs. They stop fighting against their story and begin to work with it. Instead of running from their past, they can now stand in their truth. This shift creates balance in the systemic field. No longer are these parts of the self pushed aside or denied. Everything is integrated. This process isn't instant, it's gradual, but deeply transformative. It often brings with it a profound sense of peace, a peace that comes from knowing that every part of you belongs. For example, let's consider a client who has always felt unworthy due to difficult childhood experiences. They've spent much of their adult life trying to prove their worthiness through accomplishments or the approval of others. And when they begin to accept their childhood with all the pain and neglect they endured, they no longer feel like they need to prove themselves. They come to understand what their worth is inherently, not based on what they've done, but simply on who they are. That's, for me, is just so powerful. What if we embrace acceptance as the foundation for change? What if instead of pushing ourselves or our clients to fix everything that feels wrong, we took the approach of acceptance? What if we stopped resisting what is and simply said, yes, this too belongs? Acceptance does not mean condoning harmful behavior or excusing past trauma. And I want to be really clear on that. That is not what acceptance is. It simply means fully recognizing that all experiences, no matter how challenging, have shaped who we are today. By accepting what is, we stop struggling against it. Oh, that energy that we waste in our struggle. And in moving into acceptance, we create space for healing. When we bring acceptance into our practice as coaches and healers, we are giving our clients the gift of wholeness. Instead of feeling and being fragmented, they become integrated. They stop fighting the parts of themselves that cause discomfort, and instead they learn to embrace them. This brings balance, resilience, and an inner peace that is deeply transformative. Here are some examples of transformation through acceptance. Releasing guilt from the past. A client might have grown up in their belief that they are fully responsible for a family member's emotional well-being. They may have carried guilt for years, believing that if they acted differently, their family member might not have suffered. By acknowledging this guilt and accepting their own limitations, they can release the burden of responsibility. This shift brings peace and a newfound understanding for their role in the family system. Another example is reclaiming lost identity. A client who has experienced childhood neglect may have rejected certain parts of themselves as a result of not feeling loved. When they accept their past, acknowledge their pain, they can begin to reclaim their authentic self, no longer hiding behind false identity formed out of rejection. What can coaches and healers take away from this? As systemic practitioners, our work is not about forcing change. It's about inviting change through acceptance. We help clients embrace their full selves, every part, every experience. When they do this, balance is restored. And when balance is restored, transformation is possible. With this, I now invite you to reflect. What parts of yourself or your clients are resisting acceptance? And when we move from resistance to acceptance, true healing unfolds. Join me in the next lesson, living from a place of wholeness. It's a whole new story. See you there. Living from a place of wholeness. Wholeness is not just a concept, it is a way of living. When we embrace all parts of ourselves and our lineage, life flows differently. There's a sense of ease, a deeper connection to our purpose, and an openness to what is. For our clients, this means no longer being held back by unconscious loyalties or invisible burdens. Instead, they step into their true power, guided by a sense of inner peace and belonging. And this has been what is driving me to bring to you the wisdom cards, the manual of the wisdom cards, and then also this training, which I am trusting will give you new insights. And for us as coaches and healers, it means leading from a place of deep knowing, understanding that every soul longs not to be fixed. Nobody wants to be fixed, but to be seen, acknowledged, and included. Living from a place of wholeness means no longer being held back by unconscious loyalties or invisible burdens, often carried from previous generations or unacknowledged emotions. When we accept and integrate all aspects of ourselves and our lineage, we stop fighting against life. Instead, we begin to move in harmony with it. For our clients, this shift translates into a newfound freedom. They no longer feel trapped by patterns that have kept them stuck or weighed down. They are guided by inner peace, a deep connection with their true selves, and a sense of belonging. The constant tension and conflict between their past and present begin to dissolve, and they can live in the present moment unburdened and open to what is. For us as coaches and healers, it means leading from a place of deep knowing. We understand that true healing doesn't happen by fixing the broken parts of a person, but seeing them for who they truly are. Every soul longs not to be fixed, but to be seen, acknowledged, and included. Why does living from a place of wholeness matter? Living from a place of wholeness is transformative for both clients and practitioners. When we disconnected from our true selves, when we're fragmented by unresolved issues or unconscious entanglements, We live in a constant state of internal conflict. This internal state of constant conflict manifests in stress, physical symptoms, and relationship issues, and career dissatisfaction. It's like trying to walk forward while being dragged by a heavy chain behind us. When we accept and integrate all aspects of who we are, our talents, our wounds, our stories, we break free from that chain. We no longer carry the weight of the past in the same way. We can walk forward with ease, grounded in the present moment, fully aware of our past, but not defined by it. This sense of inner peace allows us to connect more deeply with others and life itself. For our clients, living from wholeness means stepping into their full potential. It allows them to stop repeating the same patterns and cycles that have held them back. Instead, they become more resilient, more open for opportunities, and more empowered in their choices. Isn't that what we are here for as coaches and healers? To empower our clients into making good choices for themselves? So now, how can we guide clients to live from a place of wholeness? As coaches and healers, we have the privilege and the responsibility of guiding our clients to embody wholeness. This process involves helping them integrate their entire being, including the parts they've hidden, denied, or rejected. And here's how we can help them to do that. Yes, we need to create a safe space for exploration. Encourage your clients to reflect on the parts of themselves they've kept hidden, whether it's painful emotions, past experiences, or aspects of their family system that they've been neglected. A safe, non-judgmental space is essential for this process of exploration. By acknowledging these parts, clients begin to reconnect with the whole of who they are. As you know, I use systemic constellations. One of the most powerful ways to help clients live from a place of wholeness is through systemic constellation. By setting up a constellation, clients can visually experience the connection between themselves and their family system, seeing how the exclusion or denial of certain members or experiences create imbalances. When the excluded parts are acknowledged and reintegrated, clients often experience a deep sense of release and clarity. Model wholeness in your own life. As a coach or healer, you are the role model for your clients. By living from a place of wholeness yourself, you show them what is possible. When you integrate all aspects of yourself and live authentically, your clients will be inspired to do the same. This can be as simple as being open about your own journey of healing and growth. And yes, let's encourage mindful practices. Encourage clients to engage in practices that help them reconnect with their bodies, their emotions, and their thoughts. Mindfulness, meditation, journaling, or simply spending time in nature can all help clients tune into their inner selves and find balance. These practices create space for self-reflection and integration, helping clients embrace the fullness of who they are. And then let's reinforce the value of inclusion. Teach clients that true healing is about inclusion, not elimination. Every part of their story, no matter how painful, contributes to the richness of their life. By seeing each aspect as valuable, clients can cultivate a sense of gratitude and acceptance, which fosters peace and wholeness. What happens when we live from a place of wholeness? When we live from wholeness, we experience freedom in its truest sense. We stop fighting against our past, our limitations, and our circumstances. Instead, we embrace life as it is, with all its complexity, beauty, and messiness. Living from a place of wholeness also means living with a deep sense of purpose. We no longer feel lost or disconnected from ourselves. We understand that we are part of something bigger, and that every experience, every choice, and every part of our being is significant. For clients, the shift is often transformative. They begin to make decisions that are aligned with their true self, whether it's in their career, relationships, or personal growth. They stop making choices out of fear, guilt, or obligation, and instead make choices that reflect their inner truth. Here's some examples of clients living from a place of wholeness. Healing from family dynamics. A client who has struggled with unresolved family issues might begin to live from a place of wholeness by accepting their family's history, even if it's painful. By acknowledging their family struggles and their own role in the system, they no longer feel trapped by old patterns. They begin to create healthier relationships, free from unconscious loyalties or burdens. Overcoming self-doubt. A client who has battled with low self-esteem may begin to embrace their talents and their strengths, no longer feeling ashamed of their successes. By accepting their worth and acknowledging the gifts they've been given, they can step into their true power. This leads to a greater sense of confidence and clarity about their purpose in life. Shifting career paths. A client who has been stuck in a career they no longer love might start to live from a place of wholeness by reconnecting with their passions and values. Instead of staying in a job out of fear or obligation, they might decide to pursue a path that aligns with their deeper sense of purpose, leading to a greater fulfillment and success. What if we embraced wholeness as a foundation for lasting change? What if we approached every part of ourselves not as something to fix, but as something to include and honor? What if we saw every aspect of our lives, from the challenging moments to the joyous ones, as essential pieces of our whole story? When we live from wholeness, we stop trying to force change. Instead, we allow transformation to occur naturally as a result of integrating all parts of ourselves. This is the foundation of lasting, sustainable change, not just for our clients, but for ourselves as well. I love this one. Living authentically as a coach who embraces their own imperfections and vulnerabilities to connect with clients in a more authentic way. By being open about their own journey, they can create space where clients feel safe to do the same. And this is also close to my heart. By empowering clients, a healer who embodies wholeness encourages clients to trust themselves and their own healing process. They do not position themselves as fixers, but as guides who help clients reconnect with their own innate wisdom. When we lead from a place of wholeness, we create a ripple effect. Clients feel seen, heard, and empowered to live their fullest, more authentic lives. Why does this matter for coaches and healers? We shift from fixing to integrating. We move beyond the urge to fix problems and guide towards systemic harmony. We release hidden burdens by helping clients acknowledge and honor what has been excluded, freeing them from repeating cycles. And we empower lasting transformation. Facilitate healing rooted in acceptance, inclusion, and balance rather than resistance. So, how do we go forward from here? So, I invite you to look at this. What if healing isn't about fixing what's broken, but about embracing all that is? When we choose wholeness, we choose freedom. And as coaches and healers, we have the privilege of guiding others to this profound truth. Think about it. What are your thoughts on this now? This brings me to the end of this module. There is so much in this module. Take your time, revisit certain ideas and thoughts, and question yourself, what can I embrace? And question yourself, and if I can't embrace it, why not? What is my resistance? Thank you for allowing me to share this module, which is very close to my heart, with you. And I look forward to seeing you in the next module.